Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host GBHL Tom.
And GBHL Damian.
And welcome to Fall of the Necromancer week.
Woo!
Hey. Yeah, we're giving you another themed week, and this time it's not a current source book, but an old one. One of our favourites, that's why we're going with this one first.
Fall of the Necromancer. It is hands down my favourite source book.
Yeah?
It's brilliant. It's part of my favourite theme and fluff.
Yeah.
And introduce some great stuff. So obviously a lot of you out here are going to have this, and hopefully you'll enjoy a little walk down memory lane.
Yeah, and if you don't, maybe it'll inspire you to get some stuff.
Yeah, that's the hope, because obviously you can pick up on eBay and you'll see the sort of stuff that was in it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to split this into a bunch of videos to keep you going for the next few days. And the first one we're going to look at is the about half the book, which is the scenarios.
Yeah, and the themes and fluff that they've given to that, because I mean we'll talk about it a bit more, but this is kind of taken from the books, but it's not in an actual storyline part, so they've kind of added some pieces to it as well. I mean,
there's obviously, if you bear in mind this is before the Hobbit films came out, so it's very interesting looking at it now compared to the Dol Guldur sequences we've seen. It's dealing with the same storyline that you've seen in the Hobbit films of going to Dol Guldur and casting out the Necromancer, but it was done with a Lord of the Rings aesthetic, but when it obviously wasn't in the films. So this is GW being very creative, essentially, and drawing on what's really relatively thin source material. Yeah, like there's not
Peter Jackson's done the same.
Yeah, there's not an awful lot written about it. It's very clear that Galadriel went with the White Council and cast down the walls of Dol Guldur, but in terms of quite how that happened and the participants and stuff, there was very little. So the first thing that struck me about this is there's fluff.
Yeah.
This is called The Coming of the Necromancer.
So, well, you were going to say what videos we're going to do, and then you said this is the first one.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, okay. I think you were going through the series. So we're going to talk about the scenarios and the fluff first. Then we'll come back and talk to you about the profiles.
Most of the profiles,
because we'll save some of the profiles for a special unboxing. We will then talk about the hobbying part of the book, but then we'll also add in. We'll keep that secret now, but there'll be another part to the hobby section that we think is going to be actually quite new for one of these.
It's something that we haven't really done before on the channel. Yeah.
And then there'll be an army showcase. Hopefully.
We think.
And a battle report, which should be good. Yeah.
So that's the hope. So hopefully plenty of kind of Dol Guldur themed content for you.
Yes.
So the first thing you get is a kind of double-page spread of fluff and artwork. So this is kind of, because they're not drawing on the films, they've commissioned artwork for it, and it looks very Lord of the Rings. It doesn't look.
It's elves chopping up spiders.
Yeah. So we've got these. I think you can see them in there. Like that. Something like that. And it's very, very cool, and quite unlike the current source books. Yeah. Which are very much kind of here's the rules. Yeah. That's kind of, and it's they're not breaking the mold, but they're just expanding upon the stuff about how the growing evil in Mirkwood and the unrest and stuff. You get some nice maps, which are kind of cool.
If you want to do campaign style things, it's always useful to have these kind of maps.
You get close up on Mirkwood. And then very quickly we plunge onto the scenarios. Yes. And there are 6 scenarios in this, and it does recommend that you play as a campaign, as we've done for like the Fellowship of the Ring and stuff. We haven't done that. I'm not sure how hard it would be for good or anything. No. But first scenario.
Okay, so the first one is Dol Guldur Awakens. And this is really an introductory one. You don't need many of the models to play this. On the good side we have Thranduil, 3 Wood Elf Sentinels, 12 Wood Elf Warriors, and it's just 4 and 4 in terms of their war gear. So Elven Blades and Throwing Daggers, Elf Bows and Wood Elf Spears. And they're not up against much, are they?
No, the evil side is 4 Giant Spiders and 2 Bat Swarms. And the fluff behind this is basically just that Thranduil's realm has been beset by Griblies. So this is before aid comes, and this is the kind of the sign that things have gone wrong in the green wood.
And for this, again, we've talked about this on the old Journey books, but it asks you for Thranduil and 12 Wood Elves, so that's Thranduil, but then half of the one sprue of Elves, and then 4 Giant Spiders, they came in boxes of 2, and 2 Bat Swarms, they come in a set of 1.
So it's a friendly participants.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of allowing you to build it from reasonable things you might have in your collection.
Yeah. It's on a small board, a 2x2.
Yeah. Covered in woods.
And the objectives, so where do they start?
And the spiders get deployed afterwards. The spiders get deployed at the table edge.
And then the good player, anywhere on the board, but they can't be deployed within 3 inches of another good model.
Yeah,
so they're kind of
the wood elves are all spread out.
Scouting at the time. The good side wins if it manages to kill off or drive off the evil force before being destroyed or driven off itself. The evil side wins if all the elves, including Thranduil, are slain. So, fairly tough, I'd say, for the evil side.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about the spider profiles later. They are good, but to kill, for those 6 models to take out Thranduil, 3 Sentinels, and 12 Wood Elf Warriors.
That seems tough. And they don't start on the board either.
No, but there are special rules. Wearied by battle. This scenario represents the late stages of the Elven defence against the Necromancer's minions. They have already suffered many casualties and are ready to fall back. At the start of each good model's move phase, before it has performed any kind of action, it must pass a courage test or retreat a full move away from the nearest visible enemy model, unless its move is sufficient to carry it off the board, in which case it's removed as a casualty. So that's
you can
interesting.
drive them off that way.
So yeah, by them, they are courage 5, but I think the beauty of that special rule is it plays to the Sentinels.
Yeah.
It means you're using the Sentinels to auto-pass courage on 3 of the models.
Yeah.
You're not using the Sentinels to, as Jamie says it beautifully, Eldamar Madrigal. Which is cool, because then you're using the Sentinels for something useful in a scenario.
Completely.
And there's a spider special rule as well.
There is. That is at the start of the evil player's move phase, and for the next 3 move phases, the player with priority places a single giant spider, not currently deployed, touching any point on any board edge. So they come from different angles to eat you up. And there you go.
Or get shot.
Yeah. So I think that it'd be interesting to play it. But I think it will be incredibly tough for the evil side to win it.
Yeah. I think if you were going to do it in terms of a proper game, you'd do it twice. It seems pretty quick.
Yeah.
You'd say who can lose the fewest elves in winning.
Points match, it says that they're 200 points each, they should be.
Yeah.
But the Wood Elves must be about 250.
Yeah.
And the Evils 150.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Might be worth boosting up.
It would be a fun, I guess it's a fun little introductory game. It gets you used to what the Sentinels can do, the Bat Swarm's rules, Thranduil's rules. I mean, that's the name of it, really.
Thranduil as well, everything will cause terror. There we go, hope in hell.
Yeah. Anyway.
Prove us wrong, spiders.
Yes. So, scenario 2 is In the Nick of Time, which is a bigger force.
It is a bigger force, and the fluff for this is basically that Legolas and Thranduil are in real trouble, and the Wood Elves are about to be overwhelmed, but Elrond has received word about this and has led an army of High Elves to, so this is kind of the formation of the White Council, almost like getting together to try and relieve them. So this is played on a bigger board, it's 48 inches by 48 inches, covered in woods again, obviously, and now participants for this.
Yeah, so it's the same army that you had last time, so Thranduil, 3 Wood Elf Sentinels and 12 Wood Elves, but this time you can give a banner to one of those Wood Elves, and it also has Legolas, and then Elrond, and 11 Elf Warriors with heavy armour, as in the High Elf Warriors, and one of those may carry a banner as well.
So you've definitely got the 2 different forces here, Elrond leading his guys from Rivendell, and Thranduil leading the Wood Elves.
Yeah. On the evil side, we have Camul the Eastling, just on foot, a Wild Ward Chieftain, an Orc Captain, 24 Orc Warriors, 3 Wild Wargs, 4 Giant Spiders and 2 Bat Swarms.
Cool, so lots of Gribblies.
Yeah.
And the deployment is that, if you imagine, as I said, 48-inch square, on one side of the board you deploy the Wood Elves, and the Orcs all deploy in the middle, and then on the other side you deploy all the high elves.
Yeah.
So the orcs can kind of rush towards the wood elves and try and overwhelm them.
Yeah.
And I think their objective is to break the good force, isn't it?
Yeah, so the objectives... Oh no, whichever side reduces the other to a quarter wins the game. If both forces are reduced to a quarter strength in the same turn, the game is a draw. If the evil player kills both Thranduil and Elrond, the best result the good player can achieve is a draw. But it would be very difficult to kill Elrond as well as Thranduil.
I suppose with Camille.
Yeah. But there is a cool special rule called Rivalry. Thranduil is a proud individual and does not easily submit to the will of others, nor does he allow his followers to do so. As a result, treat the two elf forces as separate when determining whether or not courage tests are required for forces being at half strength. This does not affect the victory conditions, but also, in addition, elf warriors will only use Elrond Standfast, and wood elf warriors will only use Legolas or Thranduil Standfast.
That's interesting.
That's quite cool.
And already there's a foreshadowing of the way Thranduil's depicted in the films.
Yeah.
Really, of him being proud and vain.
And I think that this would be quite cool as a 3-player. You'd have one person with Elrond, one person.
One chieftain, 24 orcs. I think they could have a crack at that.
Yeah. Especially because they can run forward. Like Elrond's going to have a tough time catching up to start with. You go for the wood elves first.
Yeah.
Because that's the point.
Again, the terror might help. Thranduil's Aura of Dismay could help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
Scenario 3. A walk through dark places.
Yeah. So, I'll just show you the fluff picture for that last one. Tickle's in the way. Can't show you. That's the best I can do, sorry. The next one. A walk through dark places. And this one we have different participants completely.
Indeed. You've got other members that we haven't yet seen. So we've got Círdan, Arwen, Evenstar, Erestor, Glorfindel, and then an elf captain, 8 elf warriors, these are high elves again, with stuff. One
can have a banner, so it's very much a hero-heavy force.
Yeah, very hero-heavy. In particular, if you got Glorfindel and Erestor in there, they're pretty good fighters.
Yeah. Then on the evil side, we only have a total of 10 models to go up against this. It's 4 Castellans of Dol Guldur, each with a Morgul Blade, 2 Bat Swarms, and 4 Wild Wargs.
Indeed. And now this is the rest of the Elven Envoy walking through Mirkwood.
Yeah.
That's been left behind by Elrond. That have now been beset, I believe.
Yeah. So on the good side, you've got a lot more points in there. So the starting position is that the good start in the centre of the board, and that the evil deploy coming on. Do they have to be on one side, or can they come in any side? Okay, so it's a split between the board edges, so the evil force is kind of surrounding the good force, who are starting slap bang in the middle. Objectives: the evil side will win if both Arden and Círdan are slain.
Arden?
Is that what it said? Arwen. Arwen and Círdan are slain. Whilst the good player will achieve victory if both heroes are alive once the evil force has been destroyed. And if either Arwen or Círdan is slain but the other survives, the game's a draw. So that's why it's difficult, because your 2 weakest heroes have to survive.
Yeah.
Both of them for you to win. So that's why you've got Glorfindel and Erestor in there as well. There are some special rules as well.
Yep. Weary with much toil, which means that Círdan begins the game with no might or fate, 2 points of will, and only a single wound. His injury prevents him from moving and will always count as being trapped. Similarly, the elf captain starts with no might, will, or fate.
Brilliant.
Glorfindel's fine there.
Yeah. The touch of a despair. In the event of a courage test being failed as the result of the good side being reduced to being broken, do not remove the model. Instead, the evil player may move the model that turn. He may even charge into combat with an evil model if he wishes to represent a last desperate act of valour. Models affected in this way remain good models and will act normally. So basically, if Círdan or Arwen fail a courage test, they can move them. Well, anyone else, but those are the ones you'd be charging.
And in the clearing that Arwen and Círdan shelter in the dark canopy of Tower Duath is pierced by the brilliant rays of the sun, the wargs and bat swarms, being creatures of darkness, will not move into the clearing for any reason and will count as trapped if they attempt to back away from it.
Back away into it.
Into it. So there's a 3 inch. Is it
bubble in the middle.
There's a 6-inch bubble in the middle that the wargs and bat swarms won't go into. So the wargs and bat swarms can't kill them. It's got to be the castellans.
Yeah, that's the fluff. Unless they fail a courage test and they run out.
So I still think that would be very tough for evil.
Mm-hmm.
Those heroes.
Yeah, Glorfindel can take on the castellans.
Yeah, and Aristor as well.
Yeah.
But be interesting to see. Maybe I could be wrong, but I can't quite see how they're gonna cut through.
Especially if the bats and wargs can't get into that middle bit.
I think that would be tough for evil without Glorfindel and Aristor.
Because they've still got 8 elf warriors just dotted around, just annoying them.
But what's nice about this as well is you're getting different heroes. You're getting, this is what's so good about narrative campaigns. You get these heroes that you don't necessarily see a lot of, like Curdon in there.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, and just it has it's already got that sense of a narrative campaign of getting the different people at each part.
Yeah. Okay, and here's the fluff picture with them defending against the castellans.
So scenario 4, meddle not in the affairs of wizards.
Yeah.
This is cool.
The good side is cool. It is Gandalf the Grey, Radagast the Brown, and Saruman the White. So this is the first scenario ever that had the 3 wizards together.
Absolutely.
Which is cool. And on the evil side, we've got 4 castellans of Dol Guldur, each with a Morgul blade, an Orc captain, 6 warg riders, and 3 wild wargs.
And again, this is down on a 24-inch square, which half of which is wooded because it's representing the wizards coming to Mirkwood to aid the elves, so they're about to enter Mirkwood. So it's a small board again, a very, very cool little game. You've got an awful lot of points but very few models. So the good player basically places the 3 wizards across the middle of the board. The evil player then places all the warg riders and wargs behind them on the board edge, and the 4 castellans in front of them on the other board edge.
So the wargs are kind of chasing them into the forest, and the castellans are trying to stop them from getting into it.
And the victory conditions?
Yeah, so the good side, so the wizards have to reduce the evil side to a quarter of their original number.
So that is going to be tough, because we're talking about, was it 3?
No, I think it's 14.
So 14, so they have to get down to 3 models?
3 models.
So they've got to kill 11 models, and they're all 1 attack.
Yeah.
And obviously they've got the blasts, and Radagast can do a bit of panic steed, but that is going to be tough for them.
Yeah.
And the evil side.
Yeah, the evil side have to kill 2 of the wizards before that happens. Which again, it's not all of them, it's 2 of them. And
the castellans have Morgul blades.
Yeah, and 2 attacks. And
at the same fight value.
Yeah, and the warg riders can knock the wizards down. So yeah, very, you'd say, tricky for the wizards.
Absolutely. Again, the terror, getting up a kind of aura of dismay or terrifying aura will be huge, I think, for that.
Now the castellans do only start with 5 will points each, so they're not full force, otherwise it would be impossible for the wizards. So yeah, the wizards are less likely to kill them outright, but just wear them down so they die with no will left.
But even then, I think, even if they get rid of the castellans, they're going to have a job on their hands to kill the
warg riders.
Warg riders. It's cool then.
Yeah. Okay, the next scenario, 5th one, is the Lair of the Spider Queen.
Yeah. Which
is the first time we see the Spider Queen in a scenario.
Absolutely.
On the good side, we have Galadriel, Lady of the Gladthrone, Celeborn, 2 Wood Elf Sentinels and 24 Wood Elf Warriors. So again, a box of Wood Elf Warriors. And they're up against, on the evil side, a Spider Queen, 4 Giant Spiders, 2 Bat Swarms and 6 Wild Wargs. So it doesn't sound like that much when up against 24 Wood Elves. This is on a 2x2 board again.
I really like that.
Yeah,
I like the small boards and like just a few models.
And the spider lair is placed at the centre of the board. And then there's kind of wooded areas around these. So the evil force deploys in the middle by the spider lair, and the good player has to split his force into 4 equal groups, and they have to be kind of encircling the spider's lair. So the evil side wins if the good force is slain or flees from the board, whilst the good player wins if the Spider Queen is slain. So all you have to do is kill the Spider Queen. In the event of Galadriel being slain, the best result the good player can achieve is a draw. But there are some special rules.
Defend the Queen. When a giant spider is slain, it is brought into play at the end of the following move phase. Player of priority must place it touch the centre of any board edge or the spider layer. The nearby models may not charge, but may otherwise act as normal. And evil models do not take courage tests in this scenario, so they can't be broken.
Yeah. So that small number of spiders now makes sense because they get reinforcements.
Infinite reinforcements.
Yeah. There's another special rule, the web. The ground of the lair is covered with a layer of entangling webbing. At the start of their move, all good models must roll a d6. On the roll of a 1, they've been snared in the web and may not move that turn and count as being trapped in the subsequent fight phase. Heroes may use might to modify this roll.
So that's quite cool.
Yeah. So when you've got 24 wood elves, some of them are going to get trapped in the web on that turn.
So that'd be fun. I mean, again, I keep saying this. I think that one's going to be tough for evil.
Yeah.
Because you've got
Celeborn and Galadriel. But the Spider Queen will munch through the wood elves if she fights them.
So she's not immobilised.
Oh yeah. Oof. It's only Celeborn. Right.
Yeah, because it's war aspect, Galadriel. Yeah.
So yeah, I think you could get it to where the spiders and the Spider Queen will rip through the defense 3.
Yeah.
So it could work.
Yeah, because the spiders need 3s re-rolling 1s.
Yeah. Yeah. So if the Wood Elves lose a fight, they're in trouble.
That'd be fun though.
Yeah, fun.
Nice fluff.
Mm-hmm.
The penultimate scenario.
Yeah. Is in the shadow of Dol Guldur, and we've met up again with Elrond. So what's the fluff for this one? Having ended the threat of the Spider Queen, they've obviously won that fight. The force of the White Council can now close on Dol Guldur and the enemy within. This is when they're advancing on the tower, they're kind of ambushed on the way to the big siege, basically.
Cool.
So on the good side we have Elrond, 3 Wood Elf Sentinels, 25 Elf Warriors, so that's the High Elves, 1 with a banner, and 24 Wood Elf Warriors, 1 with a banner. So it's just Elrond as a hero here.
It's a lot of elves though.
Yeah. On the evil side we have a Ringwraith, a Wild Warg Chieftain, an Orc Captain, a Castellan, 24 Orc Warriors, 1 of which can have a banner, 3 Wild Wargs, 4 Giant Spiders, 2 Bat Swarms, and a Mordor Troll.
And a partridge in a pear.
And the Ringwraith's on full stats.
So that's kind of similar numbers, but the evil side have got more toys.
I think the good side have got more numbers. They've got 40, not 50 elves. But yeah, they don't have a troll.
It's 2 trolls. Oh, it's Wild Warg Chieftain.
Yeah, Wild Warg Chieftain and a troll. So basically, the good side deploy on one side of the board. It's a 4x4 board. Apart from the Wood Elf Sentinels, who deploy up to 12 inches in from the western board edge, which is... they just get to start further on. So I guess they're just scouting ahead. In terms of the objectives, the good force must move off the board by the eastern table edge, so the other side that they started on. If more than 50% of the good force exits in this way, the good player wins. If less than 25% of the good force exits in this way, the evil player wins. Draw otherwise. If Elrond is slain, the best result the good side can achieve is a draw. So that's why they have more numbers, because it's kind of a recon style. Special rules. Unstoppable Tide. At the start of each of his move phases, the evil player rolls 2d6. This is the number of models that he may bring onto the board that turn.
So none are deployed
to
begin with?
Yeah.
Right.
They are divided as equally as possible between each of the stone portals. So
there's a little barrow in each corner, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they can't charge in the turn they arrive. And there's no courage tests and no broken for the evil side. So yeah, cool. But what it also says...
That's the advantage for good, because the whole evil army isn't there. You have to pick which models you bring on and which are going to be the most effective.
Yeah. The other cool thing is it says that one of the special rules is alternative leader. So They've just chosen Elrond as the leader in this version. That's why there's just Elrond in this one, because of the nature of the scenario rules. But it says that you can pick any of the heroes in the supplement, or from the White Council really, to be your leader. So whichever one you want to be leading, you can have. Elrond's probably the most sensible option from a survivable point of view. But you could get Radagast in there, Glorfindel, Galadriel, Celeborn.
Gandalf, free rolling fate.
Yeah. Saruman, any of these. So that's quite cool.
Very cool.
So yeah. It's hard to know how many they'd get off.
Yeah, again, that'd be good to try.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fun.
I think that one would be fun. And we come to the big one.
Biggie, the finale, the fall of the Necromancer.
Yeah.
And which is, spoilers. It's like Return of the King, isn't it? I don't know what's going to happen. So we're now at Dol Guldur.
Maybe it's just the Necromancer in orange robes. It's like, this is his autumn outfit.
And so they... it's basically just saying that the entire White Council have now gathered and are fighting against Sauron himself.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the minnows are fighting around them.
Mm-hmm.
All the elves are fighting the orcs, but that doesn't really matter. So the participants are you ready for this? This is a 1,500 point game. Gandalf the Grey, Saruman the White, Radagast the Brown, Arwen Evenstar, Círdan, Glorfindel, Lord of the West, Erestor, Elrond, Galadriel, Lady of the Glathrun, Celeborn, Thranduil and Legolas.
All hero.
That's a hell of an all-hero list.
Yeah.
And on the evil side, they have Necromancer, Camor the Eastling, 5 Ring Wraiths, 4 Castellans of Dol Guldur, a Troll Chieftain, a Mordor Troll, and 4 Giant Spiders.
Wow.
The Castellans have all got a Morgul Blade, and the Ring Wraiths begin with 2 Might, 14 Will, and 2
So
Fate.
full.
Yep. It's also only a 24 by 24 board, because there's a relatively small number of models, but they're all awesome models.
Yeah.
With the central tower of Dol Guldur sitting in the middle. You can see it there. You've got this kind of cool fluffy picture there. And Gandalf is touching the western board edge, Saruman is touching the eastern board edge, the evil player places the Necromancer in base cut with a tower, the other models are held into reserve. So it starts with Gandalf and Saruman v the Necromancer. And the battle can only be won by the death of the Necromancer. If the good side is able to destroy the Necromancer before they're all wiped out, the good player wins. Any other result is an evil victory. And they said it's the final battle between mighty heroes. As such, we chose to ignore anything smaller than a giant spider. Just imagine there are elves and orcs battling in mortal combat as the game goes on. Start the good player's move phase. He may move D3 models not deployed. Remember, these are heroes. At the start of the game, chosen by the player with priority, on from a board edge of the good player's choice. At the start of the evil player's move phase, he may place D3 models not deployed at the start of the game in base contact with either the tower or the mausoleum. Newly arrived models may not charge in the turn they arrive but may otherwise act normally. So essentially every turn each player's going to get D3 kind of additional heroes.
Beefy heroes. Yeah.
Monsters to then... It's kind of like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, it's literally who's the last one standing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it the Necromancer or is it one of the White Council?
Yeah.
Now that could be cool.
Yeah.
Because I can see that going both ways. There's so many variables in that.
Yeah. And the Necromancer, you just want to sit back really and do the odd spell.
I think
but not too much because you don't want him to run out of will.
Yeah, he'd be in trouble in the first couple of turns if he's just
against
Gandalf and Saruman. Because Gandalf and Saruman could essentially just blitz themselves to try and take him down.
It's difficult because the Sorcerer's Blast isn't going to do much damage because they need a 6 to wound. What you'd want to do is compel him, get him towards combat.
Yeah.
Stop him from hiding behind the stuff that's going to come on.
Yeah. But that'd be good fun, I think.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun to play out. And that is the last scenario.
Yeah.
And so they obviously recommend playing as a campaign, and it says if you're playing as part of the campaign, the good heroes will be fairly beaten up. To even up the forces, the evil player might only field 3 ring wraiths.
Okay.
Which I don't think is a particularly even thing.
No.
Dropping 2 ring wraiths from that. But that is the last scenario.
Yeah.
And you could see, because a lot of them are quite small, playing that in a day. You could really see yourself playing that whole thing out. Because you also don't need too many models.
No, it's a box of it's the high elves that are the harder bit to
I suppose,
get.
But even at the end, they're still talking about 24 Orc Warriors, 24 Wood Elf Warriors, 24. It's 25 Wood Elf Warriors with a banner. Like
they're
they're doing the very
the
nice thing that they used to in these books. It's like, go and buy some Wood Elves, this is the amount of Wood Elves you'll have.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. That's
those
scenarios.
Yeah.
And they're very cool.
Yeah.
And they're very evocative and very fluffy.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think if we're close to being able to play them, we'd need to paint some of the White Council.
Yeah.
Like Círdan we don't have. But on that last battle with all the participants, it's just a few high elves that we'd need to do in terms of the one before, the Reconnoiter type one.
We will be doing a back rep for part of this week,
yes.
But I also think potentially within some point I could see us doing this as a campaign.
Yeah.
As a little mini campaign. Like doing it all and then releasing one a week.
It'd be cool.
It would be very, very cool. And it's kind of scenery and fluff that we really like. The reason this appeals to me so much is just that whole Dol Guldur sequence. I love.
Yeah.
Like everything about that. It was this tantalising little glimpse in the books about the kind of what was happening with Thrain, and I just love it in the film. I love the whole thing, and this was a great stopgap if you're interested in that kind of thing of GW when they were truly in love with the game.
Yeah.
Didn't this come out in 2006, 2005? 2006.
Yeah.
And it's them chucking everything into it in terms of creativity and resources.
Yeah, it's a cool front cover with the Dol Guldur tower in the background, but it also has an unreleased banner bearer on the front cover.
Yep. Oh yeah. Very cool.
Because I was really excited when this came out and went into the shop and asked for, I specifically wanted that banner.
Yeah.
And asked for that, and he pointed me to the clan packs and it didn't have it in, and I didn't realise at the time that it's just because they never actually made it.
That's probably worth a fair bit, that one, is it? That's one of the ones that Kev left somewhere.
Yeah, I imagine. I imagine so.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Well, and would you Adam and Eve it? Do you know how much that was when it came out?
Oh, £8?
£8. But how many pages is it? It's 32?
48.
48, it's the same as the source book.
Yeah.
What were they now? 18 quid?
Yeah.
Like 5 years later?
Yeah.
Yeah, £8 for that kind of quality. And bear in mind, there's loads more stuff in there that we're going to talk about in some other videos. But it's just packed full of cool stuff, cool artwork, and we love it. So have you played through those scenarios? Like, let us know below if you have, and if you think they're good, if you think they're balanced, if you've got any tips or anything, or if you've got a desire to play through the Fallen Necromancer campaign.
So yeah.
There we go. There is our first video in our Fallen Necromancer week, and we will be back with the next video where we're going to look at some of the new profiles that were released and kind of introduced into SPG for the first time.
And this may help some of you who perhaps aren't familiar with some of the profiles appreciate some of the scenarios that we just talked about in terms of how good the models are.
Yeah. Cool. We'll see you then.
Yeah.
Until then, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe.
Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and of course, if you're wanting to support Jamie Giblin on his Patreon.
But also support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy battle gaming.